I'm not speaking down on him because he live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but
He lives in a 2-bedroom apartment?
2-bedroom. Catch the alley hoop now. You gotta win by Yama this bitch.
I wrote verses, I wrote songs for over a decade and had never earned a penny. And of course,
How long you wrote for?
over a decade.
What kind of rich cut his own grass? Why you out there cutting your own grass? You trying to save money? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Let me ask you,
The AC broken in the.
let me ask you this.
Rick Ross
Imagine
gets
sitting
really
in an
pissed at
interview,
Patrick Bet
totally
David
relaxed,
during this interview
and somebody
for
asks you
bringing
about
up
your
things
money,
he don't want to
and you
talk
just
about
lean back,
and people
smile,
he don't
and say,
want to
yeah,
talk about.
I spent $100 million in the last 6 months. Not earned it, spent it. $100 million gone in 6 months. That is exactly what Rick Ross did. And he did not flinch, he did not stutter, he said it the same way most people talk about grabbing lunch. And before you assume this is some rapper lying to sound rich, stick with me, because the more you dig into what Ross actually did with that money and how he even got to a place where spending $100 million in 6 months was possible, the more your jaw is going to drop. This is one of the most interesting money stories in hip-hop history, and most people completely miss the real point. So let's get into it. The year was 2023. Rick Ross and Meek Mill pull up to Ebro Darden's show on Apple Music's Rap Life Radio. They are talking music, life, the business. Then the conversation shifts to money, and Ross, without any buildup, without any dramatic pause, just drops it. He says he has been cooking on the stove for a long time. He says he is frugal at some points, but when it is time to make a power play, he will spend. Then he says it. He spent $100 million in the last 6 months. And we are not just talking about it, we are really getting to it and spending it. The internet lost its mind. $100 million spent in 6 months? Not invested slowly over years, spent in 6 months. So naturally, everybody wanted to know, where did it all go? Here is the full breakdown. $35 million on a mansion on Star Island in Miami Beach. Now, if you do not know Star Island, let me paint the picture. This is the most exclusive island in all of Miami. You need to pass through a security checkpoint just to get on it. The neighbors are celebrities, billionaires, and athletes. The property Ross bought is 40,000 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, heated pool, summer kitchen, waterfront views, a 40-foot dock right on the water. $35 million. Gone, just like that. But he was not done. He immediately turned around and spent another $35 million on a private jet. That is now $70 million on 2 purchases alone. Most people will never see $70 million in their entire lifetime. Ross dropped it like it was a weekend shopping trip. Then, on top of all that, he bought a $10 million home in Houston. He picked up Meek Mill's former Atlanta estate for $4 million, another property nearby for $1 million more, and still more investments beyond all of that, enough to push the total well past $100 million. Then, and this is my favorite part of the whole story, a reporter caught up with Ross in Las Vegas shortly after and asked him about the $100 million, and his response was legendary. He said, "That is nothing. That's just a house and a jet." He said it is the stuff he doesn't even talk about that is the real story. Then he pointed out the window toward Allegiant Stadium, home of the Las Vegas Raiders, and said his bigger goal is to get a piece of that football team. A football team! This man spent $100 million, and his next move is buying into an NFL franchise? Now, this is where most people's brains short circuit, because the question is not just, where did the money go? The real question is, where did it come from? How does a rapper from Carroll City, Florida get to a place where dropping $100 million in 6 months is just called a power play? To answer that, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. And the beginning is not glamorous. Before Rick Ross was Rick Ross, he was William Leonard Roberts II, born in Clarksdale, Mississippi, raised in Carroll City, Florida. And before any rap deal, before any mansion, before any jet, he was clocking in every single morning as a correctional officer at a South Florida prison from 1995 to 1997, a regular man in a uniform making regular money. Now that detail matters more than people give it credit for, because the people who know what it is to earn money slowly, to show up every day, to have a boss and a time clock, those people tend to respect money differently when a lot of it finally shows up. That mindset stays with you, and you can see it in every move Ross has made ever since. Then 2006 hits and everything changes. He drops a single called Hustlin', and the beat, the voice, the confidence behind it, it connects with people in a way nobody saw coming. Labels start calling. Bidding wars break out. He signs with Jay-Z's Def Jam Records. His debut album, Port of Miami, drops and goes straight to #1 on the Billboard 200. Just like that, the man who used to punch a clock at a prison is now performing on the biggest stages in the world. But here is the thing that separates Ross from a lot of artists who blow up fast. He did not just spend the money on things that disappear. From day one, he started thinking about ownership. And the first big move he made that people really did not take seriously at the time was a chicken wing restaurant. Yes, Wingstop. In 2011, Ross opened his first Wingstop location in Memphis, Tennessee. People laughed at him for it. They made jokes online. A rapper running a chicken wing spot sounded like a punchline, not a business plan. But Ross was not chasing cool, he was chasing cash flow. He saw a franchise with a proven model, a product people eat every single day, and a system he could duplicate over and over. He wasn't trying to be trendy, he was trying to build something that would keep running long after the last album cycle ended.
That one store became 5, 5 became 15, 15 turned into nearly 30 locations running across the country, all operating under his company Boss Wings Enterprises. And the revenue those stores generate is serious money. Reports have placed his annual income from Wingstop alone somewhere between $7 and $20 million a year, depending on the year. Not from rapping, from wings. And the way he runs those stores reveals everything about his mindset. He did not hand it off to strangers or just attach his name to it for a licensing fee. He built the operation with his mother and his sister at the center of it. He told Rolling Stone that when it comes to his finances, the brain is his mom and his sister. They are his eyes. They are his everything. This is a family operation at the core. And then he made a move that said more about his values than almost anything else. He gave his son a Wingstop franchise as a birthday gift on his 16th birthday. Think about that. Most teenagers that age are excited about getting a car. His son turned 16 and received a business that generates income while he sleeps. One moment, one decision, that tells you everything about how this man thinks about money and what he wants to pass down. From Wingstop, the empire kept expanding in every direction. In 2009, he launched Maybach Music Group, his own record label, and that one move permanently changed the way money flowed to him, because now he was not just an artist getting paid per album, he was the label owner, getting paid every time any of his artists performed, sold records, or landed a deal. Every time Meek Mill went platinum, every time Wale had a radio hit, every time the label had a successful release, Ross was getting his cut on the back end. He went from artist to executive. That is a completely different game. Then came the beverage business, and here's a detail most people miss when they talk about his Belaire deal. Ross did not simply take an endorsement check to hold the bottle in his music videos. He secured an equity stake. He owns a piece of the brand itself. That means every time a bottle of Belaire gets popped in a club anywhere in the world, Ross collects. He ran the same play with Bumbu Rum. He built a grooming line called Rich by Rick Ross around his signature beard. He expanded into Checkers and Rally's fast food franchises after seeing what Wingstop proved. He moved into cannabis partnerships in California and Michigan. Year after year, a new stream gets added to the river. But real estate has always been what he comes back to most. He told Forbes directly that land appreciates. Concrete and steel appreciate. He said he is not playing games with his investments, and his property history backs that up completely. His most famous property is a 109-room estate in Fayetteville, Georgia, a former mansion belonging to boxing legend Evander Holyfield. And Ross did not just buy it to live in, he converted it into a working asset. Film crews have shot movies there, music videos get filmed on the grounds. The estate was even used in the production of Coming to America. The house generates income when he is not even home. He took a mansion and made it a business. And then there was a moment in Houston that summed up his whole philosophy better than any interview could. He was standing next to his pool on camera for his fans, and he said something that stuck with people. He said while others were buying Dogecoin and chasing internet money that could vanish overnight, he was buying real estate. Then he looked at the pool and laughed and said he honestly did not even know how deep it was. And that laugh is important, because the man who does not know how deep his own pool goes is also the man who knew exactly how much deeper real estate would go compared to a digital coin. He was not reckless. He was locked in while the world around him got distracted. So now, let's come back to that 100 million one final time. You know the wings, you know the label, you know the champagne equity, the rum deal, the grooming line, the fast food, the cannabis plays, the film estate in Georgia, the Star Island mansion, the private jet, the multiple investment properties bought in that same 6-month window. Does the 100 million still sound reckless to you? Or does it start to sound like what naturally happens when every machine you have been quietly building for 20 years fires at the same time? This is the mistake people always make when they hear a big number from a celebrity. The brain jumps straight to broke. Spending means gone. The fall must be coming. But Ross explained it himself in Las Vegas. A $35 million home on Star Island is not an expense. It is an asset planted in one of the most expensive zip codes in the country that will be worth more next year than it is today. A private jet is a business tool. The investment properties generate income. None of this money disappeared. It changed shape from cash into things that hold and grow value. And the man behind all of it is not operating alone or recklessly. His mother and sister manage his finances alongside his attorneys and accountants. He has said publicly that no one should ever get so big they stop being hands-on with their own money. This is a structured, family-run operation with decades of discipline behind it. The lesson inside this story is not about the spending. It is about what position you have to reach before a number like 100 million even becomes possible. You do not get there by accident. You get there by opening one Wingstop in Memphis when people are laughing at you online. You get there by taking equity instead of just accepting a check. You get there by buying land when everyone around you is buying coins that can go to zero. You get there by turning a correctional officer's paycheck into a music deal into a record label, and a record label into an empire that runs whether you show up or not. Rick Ross did not spend $100 million because he stopped caring about money. He spent $100 million because he had cared about money so deeply, for so long, through so many different angles, that $100 million became the natural size of the moves he was making. And somewhere in Las Vegas, pointing out a window at an NFL stadium and calling it his next goal, the biggest boss is already thinking about the 100 million after that one. If this is the kind of story that keeps you coming back, you already know what to do. Stay locked in.